Am I already getting jokes in the live chat? I am. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. So, hey, Scruffy, remaining remnant. What's going on, y'all? I had to get coffee. I had to get coffee. It's that time of the night. Let's let people roll in a minute. This is a pop up live, but I thought it was important that we kind of revamp and re-talk about a nuclear war situation. Hold on, y'all, before I drop another laptop here. Oh, Lordy, I'm having issues. Don't say nothing, remaining remnant. I don't want to hear it. Uh-oh, you got a sore throat. So I think that it's really important that we talk about nuclear and what if a nuclear situation happens. We keep hearing all these rumors, that it's going to happen and blah, 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 blah. And, but what if it does? Hey, Bad Art Studios, welcome back. Mary, nice to see you. Tamara, Milk and Honey. I think that if there is a nuclear situation like today, I'll tell you what, I've been prepping all day. The Alexa Pure water purification system is slow, folks. It only does 2 gallons an hour. So all day I've been filling gallon jugs. That's what I've been doing today. We got water hauled to the cabin yesterday. And so I'm just trying to stay on point because I think water, is crucial. We need hundreds of gallons of water per person for to make it a year. And the more water we can have, hey RDX, the more water we can have, the better, right? But water's heavy, and water is life, and so I think it's really important that we all get on point about water. Dragonflies, would you please turn on the AC? Maybe I was outside. It's like 60 degrees here in the Ozarks right now, so it was a little chilly. So I put on my sweatshirt, and then what happens? Then it warms up, right? Then of course it warms up. Yeah. But hey, Cherie, what's going on? Y'all gotta forgive me. Oh, hold up a minute. Hold up, Dragonflies, you gotta come help me a second here. Come on, I got issues going on, folks. I wasn't quite. Come on, Dragonflies. I need two things from you. I need you to turn on the AC for me, please, hon. And the second thing is if you could pull my computer stand up. I got issues going on. Whoa, let's okay. It'll give yeah, yeah. Just pull it up. It's heavy duty. Just keep pulling it. There we go. There we go. Whoa, there we go. There we go. Hot dog. I look like I was way down yonder in somewhere. But anyway, I think it's really important. And as I was going through a lot of okay, okay, remaining remnant, calm, simmer down. Annie Oakley, what's going on? Uh oh. Wow, Annie Oakley, I'm sorry to hear that. So I want to talk about the nuclear situation. I'm going to go ahead and probably pull this back screen down because it's having issues too. I'm just having issues today. Maybe I need to. Oh, whoa. Oh, TWP. Whoa, what is going down? Oh, these things should be situated before I come on live, right? Now I'm just happy and bright here. But anyway, as I was searching through a lot of videos that I thought were lost, guess what? Off of Off the Wall Prepper, I've found hundreds and hundreds of videos, right? So if you get the 4 filters, it'll filter very quickly. Okay. That's probably what I need to do, Annie, because I'll tell you what, that's all I did all day. Well, and helped dragonflies and burnt some cinnamon rolls. Remaining remnant, don't say another word. But anyway, folks, I have a couple videos that I found from Off the Wall Prepper. So I want to show those. I want to talk about some stuff. Elaine, what is in the house? What's up, Elaine? So let's talk nuclear tonight. And I want to talk about a couple other things and bring a little news to you because this does have to do, one of them has definitely has to do with nuclear, right? The doomsday clock. Uh, it is the closest that it's ever been for humanity to have an Armageddon. You know, Russia keeps threatening nuclear weapons, and escalation of the conflict. It could be by accident, intention, or calculation. Either way, it's getting to the point that we keep hearing about it. And I hope that each one of you are on point about several things when it comes to nuclear, like having some of the basics, having one, a good mask, having a Tyvek suit, having a metal trash can, having an outdoor shower, having trash bags, having barriers. So we're going to talk about some of these things tonight. And I think it's very important that you stay on point, but don't go over the deep end because we've had these threats um, throughout history. And, we had the situation that happened. Hey, Heather, what's going on? Situations have happened with nuclear, but let's listen to this video. I have about 6 different videos. We're also going to talk a little bit about why your garden may be failing this year. And how many of you in the chat have had to replant your garden this year? Hit a one if you've had to replant your garden. Hey, Cherie. Teresa, what's going on? Nice to see a lot of good folks coming back in the chat. Hit a one if you've had some issues with your garden, if you've had your garden just being a total mess. So we're going to touch some different things. I don't know how long we're going to stay on live. We might stay on live 2 hours. Lynn Quilts, nice to see you. So we are going to touch base on that situation too. So let's get into this first video, and hold on 1 minute, and then I'll be back after this video. It's about 6 to 10 minutes. I wanted to bring some really, I think a lot of people have a lot of questions about nuclear. And so I went to the new nuclear survival skill book, which I'll show in the next thumbnail, but also the CDC website. And I think it's really important. I'm gonna do continue this series because I think that it's really important that people know facts versus myths, that they get factual information. And I think these two subjects that I brought up right here are very, very important. If you're outside during a radiation emergency, I think that this is going to be one of those situations where you're going to be a little terrified. You're going to be scared. And I think it's very, very important to know what to do, what's the safest thing you can do, and to take those steps. So we're going to talk about this in kind of a chronological order. I'm going to be putting out a whole series. I've already have about 8 or 10 different videos in the nuclear playlist. But it's very, very important to reduce that radiation exposure. Radiation can settle on your clothing and on your body like dust. If you can remove your outer layer of clothing before entering the building, it's the most important thing that you could do to prevent exposing the inside of your property. If you're outside, it's really important immediately to cover your mouth and nose with a mask, a cloth, or a towel. If you don't have a nuclear chemical uh, mask available to you, this can help reduce the amount of potentially harmful particles that you're breathing in. Once inside of a building, what you want to do is you definitely want to go to the basement or the middle of the building. Radioactive materials settle on the outside of buildings, so the best thing to do is stay as far away from the walls and the roof of the building as possible. That's why they always suggest going to the basement, building a shelter, that type of thing. But very, very important is that if you're in a car, bus, or another vehicle during a radiation emergency, get inside of a building immediately. Cars will not provide protection from radiation. If a brick or concrete multi-story building or basement can be safely reached within a few minutes, go there as fast as you can move. However, any building is safer than being outside. Once inside, go to the basement or the middle of the building because it will settle, and it's very important to stay as far away, as I said, from those walls. One other thing is that I think that it's important that people realize I think it'll be one of the hardest things as a parent, an uncle, an aunt, a mom, a dad, a grandparent, to know that your kids could possibly be in a school or a daycare. Maybe one of your elders is in a nursing home, or maybe one of your family members is in a hospital during that radiation emergency. Folks, it's going to be hard to do, but you're going to have to stay put where you're at. I think that I know that I would be panicked, but you are not going to do anybody any good if you move outside of that safe zone before you can't possibly can. That's why each and every family needs to come together and have a plan in effect all the way down to your little ones. They need to understand that mom and dad, grandma and grandpa will get to them as soon as they possibly can. We want to speak to our kids now before the situation would happen, because if the situation happens, of course your little one, you're going to be you're going to be stressed out, you're going to be scared, but then imagine your children. So I think it's very important to sit down, and I can't believe in 2022 that we have to talk about this, but I think that it's very important that you have that plan. And then you explain to your kids, maybe even pack them their own little nuclear bag. Explain to them how to put it on, how to wear it, what to do, and where they need to be if nobody's guiding them. We hear this many times about small children, you know, they get left in the dark. Why should we not educate our children? It's very important if you can find a brick or concrete building to do so. But if you cannot, get inside of any building, because a car has a P3 rating, which is not going to stand up to hardly anything at all. Make sure that you stay inside that building. Stay inside there until you're told that you can leave, or that you've waited at least, they're saying minimum 5 days. Honestly, I would say longer. I would say longer. Um, because within a few hours, the radiation will drift. The fallout will drift. So that's going to move things out of your dwelling, out of your situation. Remember that once you get inside of a building, it's very important by limiting the amount of outside air that gets into your place of shelter. This will help reduce your exposure to any type of radiation. So, the very first step that you really honestly should do is turn off fans, air conditioners, and forced air heating units that bring air in from the outside. Close and lock all windows and doors. Close your fireplace damper. Do not forget to close your fireplace damper. Now, if you go to the CDC website, as I'm showing the reference there below, there's lots and lots of information. There's also a great book that's called Nuclear War Survival Skills. It was put out by a doctor and also by a prior Navy SEAL. That book is kind of my go to for nuclear information. No matter where you're at, folks, the safest action to take is to get inside, and stay tuned on a no radio. Go to the basement. If possible, turn off the fans and all the items that I mentioned. Get your pets inside. That is very, very important. I will share this next slide as well. Stay tuned. It's very important to have a battery operated or a hand crank no radio. Folks, I'm going to keep bringing these at you. I'm going to do it short, sweet, and to the point. But I think that we all need to take the one over here into consideration about talking to our kids and talking to our elders, because they are going to be worried and stressed. God be with us all. Let's hope this situation doesn't arise, but it's better to be educated and prepared than scared. God bless y'all from Off the Wall Prepper. This is OTWP signing out here in the Uh, how about that sound? Okay, sorry. Um, I don't want to sit here and breathe in the mic. Yeah. Okay, we should have sound now. Y'all got sound? Somebody give me a 10 by 10, a 4 by 10 up my head, a 2 by 4 upside my head, something. Okay, we're good. So I took down the back screen and I had Dragonflies go and grab this. It's dusty because we've had it for a while. It is dusty, and it's a black bag. It has our main nuclear stuff in it. Right? We do have some outside. A metal trash can is imperative. It is very, very important that everybody has a metal trash can and lots of trash bags. And I'm going to tell you this, cross contamination. I worked in a pharmaceutical plant for one of the biggest pharmaceutical plants in the country. It's called Amgen Pharmaceutical. I did their shutdowns. And I will tell you this, it's very, very important to not cross contaminate if there was a nuclear situation. If there's a nuclear situation, and be it if it's a pillow or a sweatshirt or a jacket or a hat, whatever it may be, if it was outside, it's contaminated. Outside would be considered the dirty, nasty environment. Inside your home, even though it will still have dust and radiation particles coming inside of your home, that is still your clean environment. So it's very, very important to get on point and learn about kind of a clean room environment. So if you're outside and you were out there and the detonation went off, say in Los Angeles, but you live south of Los Angeles, but you still got dust on you. You still seen the blast. You still know there was a blast. It's very important that you do not cross contaminate. It's very important not to look at the flash. Not to look at the flash. And that's going to be very hard for a lot of people because if we see something bright in the sky, we're going to want to look at it. Looking at the flash can cause temporary blindness. Also, it could cause permanent blindness. The best thing that you could do if you're outside and the flash happens is to try to not look at it, even though it's going to be very, very tempting. And also to make sure, I don't care if it's your shirt, your jacket, your bandana, if you have to, whatever you have to put across your face, get something across your face immediately, right? Um, yes, water would be contaminated. We're going to get into some things though. Think of the clean room environment. That's great, Sharice. You have a little experience. So I just want to show you this real quick. So I just threw most of our stuff in this black bag. It's easy to take with us. It's right by the bed if we need it. We already have a plan. If I'm outside, Dragonflies is inside. The back doors, the French doors of our cabin are going to be the line. And that line is going to be the dirty and the clean line. So we each have masks, and the masks are CBRNs. They're good masks. They're made for exactly what we're talking about tonight. And Dragonflies has hers all tied up. Um, here's one of them. Here's one of them with additional filters. If you cannot afford an expensive mask, get a mask. I mean, you can find them on Amazon. You can find them at military surpluses. Um, the more layers of filtration, the better. This one comes with the canister filters and the interior filter as well. We also, so Dragonflies has a mask here too. So we have two masks. We have several disposable Tyvek suits. So basically, this suit would only be for being outside. Sure, you can find a mask for as little as $40. Get a mask. Remember, if you can't afford a mask, you can also use a bandana. You can also use anything made of cotton, anything to cover your face. But the biggest thing is to stay inside for the first 2 to 3 days. Don't even go out. Get you some Tyvek suits or have some loose, baggy clothing. I want to say this: if you're outside and I have this on, right? I have a hoodie on, and I have that hoodie up over my head. It's going to be very hard for me to take this off without contaminating myself because it's tight, right? So I may have to take a knife and cut it off to peel it away. The other thing is whatever you do not want to use shampoo. Shampoo and conditioner will set into your hair, which is going to cause the radiation to set into your scalp, and it's going to cause you a lot of illnesses. Okay. So there's a lot of things when it comes to nuclear preparedness. Not only do we have that, we also have a portable shower, which this is going to get mounted outside. I just haven't done it. I've been doing so many projects right now. This is a 5-gallon solar shower because you're going to want to have a metal trash can there. You're going to want to take off all your clothes, strip down, strip them off, put them in a bag, tie the bag up, put it in the metal trash can, leave it alone, right? My hair is just messy, Elaine. Then get in a 5-gallon shower, a solar shower, and rinse off. If you can't do it that way, figure out a way. Just take a bucket of water, pour it over yourself, rinse yourself off. Me personally, from all the research and everything I've done, I'm not going to use soap at all. I'm just going to rinse my body off. The other thing is that we have gloves and we have dragonflies. You have seeds in here. She stuck seeds. This is for the after the nuclear blast, so that we can still have parsley and rosemary. Dragonflies. Anyway, I probably accidentally they probably accidentally got with some other things. We also have plastic gloves, scrubbies. Um, you want to have towels outside. You want to have anything so that you can rinse your body off, pat dry it, and get out of Dodge and get back in your home. You do not want to stay exposed out in the elements. If you have the choice, go underground. If you have the opportunity, if you know that there's been a detonation in the West Coast and you're on the East Coast, have your place and get underground. Be it if it's a cave. Um, I'll just tell you this from a very primitive point of view. This is one of the best resource books that you can get right here, Nuclear War Survival Skills. This book was written by Don D. Mann, who's an ex-Navy SEAL, and Dr. Edward Teller. This book has been around forever. First time it was published was in the late 70s, 1979, 1980. They've never had another book come out as detailed as this. And the thing is, I reached out to some places and there is no resources for nuclear. There's no resources in Missouri for nuclear. I asked the city director, what is the plan in this small town of Willow Springs? Where's the closest shelter? Is there a nuclear shelter? I don't know. Hold on, you're in charge of nuclear. You were direct. I was directed directly to you, and you're telling me you don't know. And then you all might remember this last year when I did this. 4 times I reached out to him and never got a call back. See, the United States, we're on our freaking own. We're on our own as Americans to educate ourselves and be ready. I will say this. If you notice right here, this is how simple the shelter could be. Dig a freaking hole. Get 6 foot, 7 foot down in the ground. Cover it up and get your ass in there and get your family's ass in there, right? Uh, you can have, according to the CDC and the websites and stuff that the government has, they say 2 days stay inside. From what I've read, and I won't go against what they're saying, I would say a minimum of 2 days. But you also got to remember about the fallout. The fallout could be a huge, huge thing, right? He needs a pay cut. If I exactly, Brandy. But do you remember that I went there and went face to face with the guy Where do we go? What do we do? Is there any resources on that? Go to your own community, go to your city hall, go ask them, see what you get, see what kind of response you get. Or if they look at you like nuclear, oh, what the hell are you talking about? They honestly, while China and Russia and these other countries have bunkers for their citizens, the United States, all of our old bunkers are gone. And if they're not gone, they are for the elite and the military. So this folks, I hope and pray that it never happens. But if it does, I would rather be prepared than not. Now I have like 7 of these videos. I want to show another one. Then we're a little fun. We're going to talk about some things. Um, Most of these came from Off the Wall Prepper, that troublemaker. Trouble, trouble, trouble. Uh, that is the most important book. That's the only book. Yeah, ask them if there's a nuclear shelter. Ask them if they have a program. Ask them if they have a protocol. Ask them any freaking thing. And you'll probably get the same answer I did. A whole lot of nothingness. Okay, let's listen to this one, folks.
How you doing? I hope everybody's doing good. I wanted to share a resource that I've never really heard anybody talk about. So I'm doing another nuclear series. You'll notice the yellow and black thumbnails. Right now we have 13 or 14 in that series that's in a playlist. A lot of people have this uneasy feeling, and I totally understand. But education is powerful. So what I want to show you is what I found today. Some people cannot afford to go buy books and things of that sort. And I think that each and every one of us has, well, the black screen that we often talk about, the good old cell phone, right? So what you do is you text the number 43362. Can you all see it? You text the number 43362. Now I'm going to change the angle of the camera so that we can concentrate on what I want to show you. I think it's very important. It's a great prep. It's a easy way to access information that you may need that you can't afford to go buy books for. So some people have bad feelings about this organization, others don't, but I will tell you this. The information that they have on their website is very informative, and it's in the best benefit of us. No one is talking about this. What do we do in case of nuclear? How do we do it? What do we need? What should we prep? Is this right? Am I getting misinformation? It's very, very important to get the correct information. And I think, honestly, folks, we have to look back at old government documentation. We also have to look at one of the best books out there, which is right above my head, Nuclear Survival Skills, written by a prior Navy SEAL and a doctor. It's been revised several times to update it, but it's a great book. But this resource that I'm talking about today, if you have a cell phone, it's free to you. So let's take a look. So the first thing that you're going to want to do, and I'm hoping that you all are going to be able to see this okay without a little bit of a glare. I'll hold it up. You're going to text the number 43362. When you text the number, you're going to text the word shelter and your zip code. Ours is 65793. Then it's going to put you in touch with FEMA. FEMA is going to give you, one, you can text list, the word list, for safety tip keywords, or you can text shelter and your zip code. After you do that, it will give you a welcome message, and it'll go through prompts. Tells you that there's no shelter facilities for your local area may vary. Please check with your local officials for the latest info in your area. Now, if you're in a city, this is a great, great resource. We could not locate a shelter within 200 miles of our current zip code. You can go to FEMA.gov/shelter for more information. But then I punched in nuclear. It was not on the list. But what is on the list is text list for safety tip keywords for disaster recovery centers or shelters, text DRC or shelter and zip code. So I clicked list again, and here's what it gave me back. I can find out about a blackout, an earthquake, fire, flood, hurricane, tornado, winter, wildfire, reply one word at a time. So I just did winter just to out of curiosity. You signed up for periodic winter safety tips. We're here to help you to prepare. We hope this search was helpful, and it goes into your shelters. The nice thing is, folks, this gives you a resource so that you can actually, especially in a city, you're going to be able to find emergency shelters near you. This could come into play during a tornado, a hurricane, a nuclear situation, a winter situation where you're stuck out, no power, blizzard, that type of thing. But I think this is a good resource for people. I've never heard about it, and so I wanted to share. This is just something I stumbled upon. So again, let's back up. That number is 43362. That's the number. Then you text shelter and your zip code. So I hope this helps somebody out there if you don't have the resources to buy books, or if you're just concerned, in which a lot of us are at this point. But text shelter 65793 to 43362. And I really hope that this helps many people. I hope that, oh, look, what a beautiful day. I hope that this helps many of you. And we have to do the legwork. We have to continue to do the legwork to find these resources, because nobody in the government or on national media or in the newspapers is coming forward to say, hey, this is what you folks need to do. Or they're not even saying that we could possibly be under a threat. We don't know if we are or aren't under a threat because of the leadership. But what I can say, it's better to prepare now, know, than not to know and have something occur. The worst thing that you can have is a few extra preps and a few extra resources and more skills and knowledge. There's nothing wrong with that. You could share those skills and that knowledge with your kids and your grandkids, which in return makes us more self-reliant and self-sufficient preppers and homesteaders. God bless each and every one of you from our little piece of heaven here in the Ozarks.
So that resource is not good if you're like in a rural area. We don't have any shelters within 200 miles of us, but the great state of Missouri has a lot of caves, and that's what I've been searching out. Even a rock pile, honestly, crawl under a rock, the old saying, climb under a rock, get under a rock. Well, it may be life saving. It may be life saving to get out and explore this summer, enjoy life and explore and figure out where some of those caves are in your local area. The United States has a lot of caves, folks, a lot. It doesn't matter if it's a private or a public cave. It doesn't matter if it costs you to go in and visit it. It doesn't matter, none of those things, right? Because knowing where the resource is, if all shit breaks loose and there's a nuclear and you're close to that resource, it's open. It's open for you. And you go there. The other thing is, if post offices around the United States used to have shelters in the bottom with basements. If you have a basement, remember still that you want layering around you. If you're in a home, you still can survive a nuclear situation, because layers of protection is the key. Me and Dragonflies already have a plan. The plan is if there's a nuclear detonation in St. Louis or in Kansas City, we are throwing all the furniture up against the walls. Outside on the deck, I already have furniture in place, and I have it strategically placed for a purpose. See, the way that you can set yourself up for being able to make it through is to already have things in place, such as plywood for the windows, lead sheeting for the windows. Those things will make a difference. By throwing up your furniture, you're adding another layer of protection. You want to get to the center of your basement, your center of your home, and have layers of protection anywhere and everywhere you can. The main thing is ventilation. If you have a fireplace like we do, like I'm sitting right here by it right now, if you have a fireplace, a old fashioned fireplace, you're going to want to shut it down because if things come in from the air, you're screwed. You're going to be breathing that in. We also purchased us an air purifier. That air purifier is really good. It is RR's been dropping the link. We are an affiliate, but I bought it to see if it worked, and it works, and I'm very impressed. We can run it off a solar pack, right? So I have another video talking about potassium, potassium iodide. People have misconceptions about potassium iodide. Potassium iodide is not for everybody. Okay. So don't think that, I've heard channels say, well, go get potassium iodide. Everybody needs it, blah, blah, blah. That's not a true fact. Okay. We're differentiating here between myths and facts. And the facts is anybody can make it through, right? Anybody can make it through a nuclear situation. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're old, young, disabled, overweight, or just plain lazy. You can still make it through. Let's not be too lazy, right? Hey, Lady Casca. Hey, Marlon Rondo. Hello, His Highness. Nice to see y'all. So let's go to this next video. Mods, please watch the chat. Chat alert. Chat alert. Go to this video. And let me see which one it is. I have a lot of videos that I have kind of put in order, but now they're kind of screwed up because I'm looking at them differently. Okay. I think it's this one. It might. Let me see. I think it's this one here. Let's see. Good morning, everybody. This is Off the Wall Prepper. It's October the 19th at about 6 a.m. Central Time. So this morning, I want to present this video to you within our live stream so that if you have questions, I can answer the questions. Many people have misconceptions about Ki, which is potassium iodide. So I will be presenting the references. The references are from the FDA and legitimate organizations that have been around for a long time and have done studies on this. In 2001, December 2001, the FDA issued a final guidance on potassium iodide as a thyroid blocking agent in radiation emergencies. Now, one thing I do want to touch on this morning as well is I've had a lot of people reach out and saying they're giving out free potassium iodide. This is a common practice. Calm down, simmer down. It's been a common practice in the United States since 2009. But so I want to. The main thing is the EPA, the FDA, the NRC, which is the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and state and local governments have put out information about potassium iodide. Many preppers in the prepper community think buy KI and everything's going to be hunky dory. Everything that I'm giving you is factual scientific studies that have been done. And I think it's very, very important, first of all, to just know, have a little background information about it. What does it actually do? The effectiveness of KI is a specific blocker of thyroid radiodyne uptake. It's well established. KI is effective in reducing the risk of thyroid cancer in individual or populations at risk for inhalation or ingestion of radiodynes. KI floods the thyroid with non-radioactive iodine and then prevents the uptake of the radioactive molecules. Can potassium iodide, we'll refer to it from this point forward as KI, be used to protect against radiation from bombs and other radioactive iodines, such as radiation from a dirty bomb? KI works only to prevent the uptake of radioactive iodine into the thyroid gland. It is not a general radioprotective agent. Really, folks, the people that really need to take potassium iodine after a nuclear radiation release, the FDA guidance prioritizes groups based on age, which is primarily the factor for determining if you could have induced thyroid cancer. I am in no way, shape, or form a medical expert. All of the information that I'm giving you, I will give references for. It is from the organizations that I stated. But those at the highest risk actually are infants and children, as well as pregnant and nursing females, because of the potential for KI to suppress the thyroid function in the developing fetus and the newborn babies. So the recommendation is to treat them at the lowest threshold, which is very, very important. Finally, anybody that's over 40 years old should be treated with KI only if the predicted exposure is high enough to destroy the thyroid and induce lifelong thyroid deficiency. KI products are currently available. They are FDA approved. They may be legally in the States. You can purchase them off of Amazon and different places. Anbex Incorporated is one of the best ones out there. Also, ThyroSafe tablets, which has had a lot of studies done on it. That's from BTG International. And then also you have potassium iodide oral solution, USP, which is also recommended from the FDA. These were updated as of March of this year. What dosage of potassium iodide should be taken for specific exposures? I am going to tell you that I would like you to reach out and do some research on this yourselves by going to the FDA website. It will break it down from infants, birth through 1 month, up to adults over 40 years old. Like I said, I am in no way, shape, or form a doctor or a medical expert. I am taking this off of proper websites that have done the scientific research. You can also go to fda.gov, and there is a huge section under bioterrorism and drug preparedness. Um, when you should take it cannot be taken as a preventative before radiation exposure, and I think people have a lot of misconceptions. After a radiological or nuclear event in the US, local public health or emergency management officials will tell the public if there's a need to take KI. After an event in the US, you should also follow the instructions given to you by these local authorities. Taking a higher dose of KI or taking KI more often than recommended does not offer more protection. Listen to that closely. A higher dose of KI or taking KI more often than recommended does not give you more protection. And actually, there is severe side effects that can cause illness or death if you're not doing what you're supposed to. This is not something that people should just take because they want to take it. This would be a life or death situation, and you definitely, definitely, folks, want to talk to somebody that is a medical expert or is involved in and tells you this is what we're doing. This is what our hazardous protocol is for your area. It's very important to know that. Who should not take KI or should have very restricted use? People that are iodine sensitive should avoid KI. Individuals with um, there's so many extremely rare conditions with increased risk in high iodine hypersensitivity. seafood or shellfish allergy does not necessarily mean that you're allergic or hypersensitive to iodine. People with heart disease should not take KI. Um, goiter, you should not take it. And if Graves' disease, autoimmune, should be treated very, very much with caution. So I am, like I said, I'm taking this from actual websites. And yesterday I went to a city hall, and so I have a phone conversation coming up this afternoon, which I'm really interested in. I am going to be talking to the head of hazard safety, and they actually asked me if I'd come in and do a nuclear class for the area, and I I really wanna talk to her kinda about what the plan is. Where the shelters are is really concerning to me, and I am gonna be doing another segment on the shelters. So if we could hold the shelter information till tomorrow, I will be bringing another video tomorrow about nuclear shelters, which I think is very, very interesting. But remember, folks, there's side effects from KI, such as skin rashes, swelling of your saliva glands. There's a metallic taste, a burning mouth and throat, sore teeth, gums, a head cold, sometimes upset stomach, and even diarrhea. There's also allergic reactions that are more serious: fever, joint pain, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, hands, or feet, trouble breathing, speaking, or swallowing. This is why people need to really educate themselves and take the time to do some research before you go popping a KI, uh, potassium iodide pill, because you really need to be aware of when you should use it, why you should use it, and what the purpose is. So I hope that this video helps you a lot. There's some references at the end of this video, and then I will come on live to answer any questions that I possibly can to at least lead you in the right direction. I think every single one of us need to seek out proper information, not what some creator tells you to do or this creator tells you to do. I think it is very, very important that each and every one of us takes into consideration what KI, potassium iodide, can do if you use it and you don't know what you're doing. It's very important, folks. Your life could depend on this. So I think a lot of people think that they can just take potassium iodide and take KI and everything is going to be great. It's not the case. It's not the case, folks. There's a lot of references that I have came up with. These are from our past videos, but we're going to talk about something that's kind of scary to folks. And I think that I could have just left this over to the side and not brought it up again. But I think with everything that's going on in the world, that we all feel like something is going to happen. And I personally feel that when it does happen, it's going to be that situation where they really shake people up, where they shake the masses up, and people go, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" You know, it's very important to do your own research always, always to dig down into that topic, to get a book, read, educate yourself, go to some of these websites that I gave up for resources, right? Um, uh, yeah, so I think that there's a lot to talk about when it comes to nuclear, and I do want to talk about this. And I know that it kind of freaked people out last time, and that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it to bring awareness, to bring thoughts, to bring conversation, to bring us together and be on point. So, this, my friends, is the nuclear map. This is a nuclear simulation map. This nuclear simulation map, the numbers are off. I don't believe the numbers because it's a simulator, right? But the thing that you can take from this is that you can see the drifts, and you can learn how like a small nuclear bomb would affect an area compared to a large one, right? And that's what we need to take from it. Last time at Off the Wall Prepper, people were like, "Do my area, am I gonna die?" It's like, come on, folks. That's not the purpose of this. The purpose is to educate, learn, and learn the skills how to protect you and your family and go forward. So please don't ask me in the chat. Check my town. Tell me if I'm going to die. We're all going to die someday. Okay. We're all going to die someday. So the thing is education and prevention is very important. And this simulator should give you an idea of the drift. We always think about, you think about the drift of the wind. If you're in the north, it's going to head north, it's going to head southeast. So you got to kind of figure out where you're at in this world, and where what happens. So excuse me. Let's take a look at a small map, a small bomb in a area. Um, Now, I will tell you this on an honest note. There's several cities that are, if Russia would ever attack, or China, that are key factors that will probably take a direct hit, which is New York, Los Angeles, um, Philadelphia. There's several. There's about 8 or 9, and we'll go into that. We're going to do one more of these nuclear specials. I'm going to bring up some things that we haven't talked about. This is kind of a revamp to get people brought up to date. So let's just go out to, let's just start in Los Angeles, okay? We're going to start in LA. You can see there the LA map. I'm going to pull it out so that you kind of get an idea. Familiar with Los Angeles. Um, I used to live in San Dimas, which is far east Los Angeles County, right? So let's take a look at if it was a small weapon, what would happen, right? Um, the smallest U.S. bomb produced is the Davy Crockett. It's 20T. So let's see what happens. Um, and we're going to look at, I would definitely say that there'll probably be airbursts. That's just my opinion. It could be surface because we've also talked about Club K. So let's see. Now let's not get the numbers. Let's get all jazzed up on the numbers, okay? So that's the smallest one. That is the smallest one. And you can see there that if it was aimed at Los Angeles, downtown LA, the jewelry district, the garment district, the LA financial district would be toast. Where it's red, anybody in that red zone would be toast. I mean, put it this way, it's so radioactive that you wouldn't even know what hit you. It would be like just a zap. The thing is that's a very small one, right? Estimations of us being hit by nuclear is they're thinking that it'd be between 100 and 300 all across the United States. If that happened, that would be a major situation. Um, but you can see there, that's the smallest one. You're looking at 10,000, 10,000, 5,000. Like I said, I don't want us to get hooked up in the numbers. They're saying 10,000 fatalities, 5,000 people. So now we're going to clear this. We're going to clear all this, and we're going to go. I think I can do multiple on this. There's some that you can do multiple, some you can't. Let's go just to a bigger one. Okay, let's just go to a bigger one. Let's go to the largest one. Well, one of the okay. Let's go to the one that they used in Hiroshima, for example, the little boy, 15 kts. Let's hit that and let's watch again. Same area, and then I'll switch it to a different town. So now you can see with just that 5 kt difference what it did. Now you can also go by the colors. You can get on here and do this yourself if you're really curious. Do some research, you'll find it. Estimated fatalities 100,000, estimated injuries 150,000. The fireball radius is that light orange color. The heavy blast damage radius is the pinkish color. And then the green is radiation radius. And then the lighter color is a moderate blast damage radius. That moderate, even that moderate damage, right? 15% of survivors will eventually die of cancer as a result of exposure in the green, right? And then when you get out to the moderate blast, you have a better chance of things. You're still going to have windows, buildings collapsing, injuries, fatalities. Things are still going to happen, but you can see how much just 5 kT cut it out. And so that's kind of interesting when you see the difference between the two, right? I think that there's a lot of things to think about. Let's take a look at a bigger one. We're going to stay in the same area tonight, okay? Just because I think it's a good way to kind of get keyed in on what's happening. So we're going to go, now we're going to go to one of the biggest ones, which was tested in, and there's a bigger one out now, but the North Korean weapon tested in 2017 was 150 kT. They have ones up to 300. Well, the United States, we have one that's in the U.S. arsenal. It's 340 kts. So there's some big boys out there, right? And so we're going to go to the Ivy King, which is the largest pure fusion weapon tested by the United States. It's 500 kT. Let's see if we dropped one on ourselves. If this is just examples, okay? But let's see what happens here. Ready? Okay. Now you're seeing some serious, 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 serious issues. And I'm going to keep backing it up, show you what happens. Do y'all see that? So imagine that is all the way, folks. Let's zoom in a little bit. That is almost to Las Vegas. Look, almost. We're going to push Los Angeles down there in the left hand corner. But go up there and look at that, almost to LA, to Las Vegas. So from Los Angeles to LA, I've driven that more than once. That's like 2.5 to 3 hours drive. So think about what we're seeing here. Now we also know that Russia has in their arsenal some very, very terrible, terrible things. I am going to do some research on that. And I'm going to bring up another nuclear special where I'm going to be touching on a few different things. But this, folks, shows you the difference, and that's the United States uh, nuclear weapon. So I think, yeah, and it is. And then the thing is, remaining remnant, that you have to consider here, right, is that with that trail, everything to the south of that trail is where the wind's going to be blowing. You're going to be blowing that through the weather, or what do you call it? Implies you're the weather lady in this house. What's it called? The drift of the wind. So it's going to drift. Excuse me. Uh, she can't think of it right. So the wind's going to also push that out, which means, right, folks, which means that it's going to have this situation where basically when that situation happens, you're going to have all this drift. And that's going to be the problem. And that's what we're talking about. If you're in a direct impact, make sure that you're spiritually centered and that you're right with God. And, you know, um, that's all I can say about that situation. If you're in a direct hit, if you're directly in Los Angeles and it get hit, or if you're directly in Chicago or whatever city and it directly would get hit, be spiritually centered and be right, because if it happened, it happens. And like I said, we're all going to die anyway, right? But I'm not being like, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, this is 375 times that we're dying today. Okay, not being like that. What I'm saying is that a direct hit is going to be done. The wind is going to push that ash out across the United States. So if there's several, if just a scenario, if there's several of these that happen, then there would be a lot of dust and radiation going all over the United States. The thing that we'd want is high winds and rain because it's going to push it and wet it down, and it's going to dissolve, and it's going to lower each day. If it starts up here, each and every day it's going to go lower and lower. And that's why they recommend staying inside for 48 hours. That's why I said push it a little farther. You're a prepper. Push it to 5 or 7 days because the cancer, the radiation poisoning, the cancer is going to still be high, correct? So why not? If you're a prepper, surely you can stay inside for 5 days and entertain yourself, or 7 days and just sit there and twiddle your thumbs and freak out, whichever you choose. But that's like really important. Um, at this time, I have some other ones, but at this time, I want to touch base real quickly. And I got to get up. I got to get a cup of coffee. This is a little bit about gardens and why they fell and how you can prevent it. And an easy, simple at home test that can save you between $50 to $200. So I want to show that, and then I'll be back on. Yeah, I'm thinking the same. I'm right on with you, Sparkle. I'm thinking 7 to 10 days, right? Exactly, Bernie. Jesus knows our expiration date, right? But the thing is that we want to prepare our families, we want to prepare our kids, we want to do everything we can, um, because God didn't make us to be wimps and sit around and go, oh no, it's better to prep now and not need it than to need it and not have it. And that's how I feel about it. It's better to have the skill and to understand what you can do to make things better than to be sitting on your thumbs not doing shit. And then when something breaks out and you can't get food, you can't get water, you can't get purification tabs, you can't get KI, you can't get these things because it's done, then it's too late to prepare, right? It's over. You're in where you're at. So let's watch this video, and yeah, yeah, and it depends, Doug, how long it'll be affected. But we're gonna get into some of those other things on another video. We watched 3 of the videos tonight. I want y'all to watch this one about gardening, how to test your own soil. It's very simple, and it's very accurate. So let's watch this. I'll be right back. I need coffee. And then I'm going to bring a little humor, like, we have to do it the OTWP way, right? Uh, Welcome to all the new folks on the channel. You're welcome here. We've been around a while. We just got taken down and we're regrouping. So you just keep on going. You keep putting your boots on the ground and you keep doing the dang thing. And you don't give up. That's the main thing, folks. Don't give up. Um, we could just do a lot of different things, but I think the biggest thing is don't give up and learn and keep learning. So here this goes. This is like 6 to 8 minutes, and I'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's Off the Wall Prepper. So, this is day 3 of demos. This one can save you money. As we garden, as we basically are doing planter boxes, that type of thing, we need to know what our soil consists of. And soil tests run anywhere from $20 up to $200, depending on what state you're in. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you may be in a state that provides you a free test once a year. But it's what if you couldn't send it in and you didn't know what to do. So today I'm going to be showing you how to do your own soil test free of charge. So the main thing is you're going to collect up some soil in a mason jar or a container. You want to make sure that you get the container for the right size of the soil test. It needs to be about half, and this is not half. So I got another small jar, and I'm going to go ahead and get things lined up. And then it takes about 2 hours for the soil test to be accurate. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and mix it up. and then wait. And it's really simple. So I'm going to show you. Hey, Dragonfly's is sleeping, so I can be in the kitchen. Anyway, this is what you do, folks. It's so simple. So you get your soil from wherever you're going to be planting at, and that's really important, is to have your soil handy. And what I've done, I've had this for a while, is I have a little chart, and I'll go over this with you when we do the reading. But you're just going to get your mason jar, and so I don't make a big mess, I got it over the sink, and I don't want to hear it this morning, which, oh, hold on, I did it like almost perfect. Okay, awesome. So about halfway. As you can see, it's about halfway full. Then, and you can get this from wherever you're going to plant your garden, even if you have used previous stuff in there. It's a good thing to do. Then what you're going to do is you're going to just come over to your faucet. Simple, easy peasy, right? Fill it up to within about an inch of the top. Like so. Easy. Then you're going to put your lid on it, and you're going to shake it. And you're going to shake it for a good couple minutes. Just shake it around. And then once you do this, what you're going to do is you're going to leave it set. And I'm going to do 2 tests today. One from a previous planting area and one from a new planting area, so that we can see the difference in the soil, which I think will be good for people to understand. About a couple minutes of shaking should be fine. Okay, once you're done, all you're going to do is set that on your counter, and you're going to leave it for anywhere from 1 to 3 hours, at least an hour. Okay, at least an hour. So it's really important to be able to leave that test wherever it's at for an hour. Sometimes I've left them for 2 to 3 hours, but I keep this hanging on the fridge. Okay, and basically this shows my test readings and shows what type of soil I have, and then I show the layers so that in case I ever forgot, I could see the layers. So once this all settles, what's going to happen is all your rocks and your sand are going to go to the bottom. Then your silt will be in the middle, and your clay will float to the top. And then you need to learn how to read those results. So I'll be back after a bit. We'll test one more jar, and we'll have 2 different jars. This is from a previous planting area, and the other one will be from a new planting area. And then we'll talk about what you do to correct it. This is day 3, testing your soil, saving you 20, minimum 20, up to $200. In Nebraska, they charge around $100. Here in Missouri, I'm not sure because I've never done it, but that's the average cost. So everybody needs to save money, and I hope that this test, being able to test your own soil, will help you save money as well. So I'll be back after a bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mark these, because I went out, and this is the new area where we'd like to plant at. So I got soil from there. This is the old one. It hasn't been, so I'm just going to mark a 1 on here because that's the old one, just to keep track of them. And then this is the new area. Make sure that when you do it, you leave a good inch at the top. And go ahead and put your lid on that one too. And this will kind of give us an idea of what we have to do in 2 different areas. And I think that's a good idea because, you know, you might have an issue in one area, and maybe where we're planting out this year or this last year wasn't as good as a different area. So Same thing, shake it up for about a minute to 2 minutes. And shake it pretty good. I mean, mix it around so that what's going to happen is that the bottom layer is going to be your heavy area, right? Everything heavy is going to float to the bottom, which will be rocks, and your sand will go to the bottom. Then in this midsection, you're going to have your silt, and at the top will be the clay. Just so that you all know, I think I said that, but I want to make sure you understand how. And then the important thing is after this sets for about 2 hours and you've done your soil test, is what do you do to correct it? Do you use compost, manure, fertilizer? Do you need to add something particular? And we'll talk about that as well in this demo. And while I was over here, dragonflies will be happy. I just fixed our little under counter light because it was out. So I went ahead and fixed this little light. It does come in handy. And I would suggest that maybe you get some battery powered lights, things like that. Yeah, there we go. It does make a nice little area. Like if you come at night, you can just, then you have a spot, right? You have a spot that you can have lighting. So here's the one from the previous garden, and here's the new one. We'll see what happens in a few hours, and I'll come back on to kind of explain the reading to you too. Ah, it smells good in here. Her little Scentsy warmer. She put up her new little rack, and then I have a project right here. So I'll probably show you all this too. I'm going to be sanding this all down, this old countertop, and I'm going to sand it all down and clean it out. It's been here for a long time. You can kind of see by the, the condition of it. It's been here a long time. It's clean, but it's got burns, and it's just a mess. And this old cabin, we have a lot to do. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand it down, and then I'm going to put a bar top on it. So it'll turn out really nice. But we'll come back and check on our stuff here in a couple hours, and then I'll finish up the demo, and I'm just going to mark that one too. And let's see what happens. All right, so we've been waiting long enough. We should have some results, and as you can see here, you see the layers. See if you can all see that pretty good. Oops, here we go. So you can see the bottom, the middle, and the top. And you can actually see the color variation. Let me see if I can get you over here a little closer so you can see it. But you can actually see it. You can actually see the different layers. And on this one, you can really see it. Look at that. So this sank to the bottom. Here's your middle. Here's your top. Now you are going to have organic matter floating around. One thing I want to say about doing your own soil test that's really important. Sorry about the shake. I just hit the camera. Sorry, guys and gals. Is that you can go, first of all, every region is different. Of course it is. But even on your own property, it's going to be different. Most soil has 3 components. It has the sand, the silt, and the clay. And so if you have the sand, the perfect is about 40% sand, 40% silt, and 20% clay. You're going to have like a beautiful planting garden. But then you have these other issues. You have silty clay, loam, sandy, and silty. So you have 4 different ways, and you really want to look at the situation on each one. Your harvest layer is going to be your bottom layer, and as you can see there, we have a pretty good harvest layer. See that? That's your harvest layer. So that's really important. This medium is the silt in the soil, and then your top is your clay. So there's not much clay, and then also you have this little bit of floaters around in here, which is your organic matter. So that's something to really take into consideration. This right here, folks, I would plant in this without any hesitation, honestly, because you got about 40%, right, at your bottom, which is your harvest layer. Your medium, you got probably 30 to 40%, and 20 on the top. So this right here is ideal for growing. Now, as we look at the other one, you can see not quite the same wonderful thing going on. You see that? Not the same wonderful thing. I would say this one's pretty much a mess. That's the first one. Um, I would say, if you have too much clay, you're going to want to add, um, oh, you're going to want to add peat to it. You're going to want to add perlite to it, and compost. And it'll be like 1, 2, and 2 inches of each one. If you have too much clay, you do the same. You add 1 inch of peat, 1 inch of perlite, and then compost about 2 to 4 inches. And it's really one of those things that you just have to keep practicing to get used to what you got. But like this one, I am super happy with this right here. Super happy. This I will plant in all day and all night. This is a new spot out there in the front yard. And it has been treated with a little bit. I think we put some type of soil down there, topsoil probably, because in the Ozarks we have a very rocky terrain. So to get this mix is hard to do here in the Ozarks, but we've accomplished it. So this will be a great place to plant next year, which is about a 15 by 20 foot area. Nice little garden for 2 people. Um, I think that you have to realize that organic matter, and the big thing is to test different areas of your yard, because you might test in one area and that part of your yard, it looks like this, and you go, hey, score, I can grow here. Or you have the other part that looks like this disaster and go, we got 5 acres, so I'm not going to plant in that area again. Um, Most soil, though, you can use a few things, and you can use natural things such as coffee grounds, eggshells, different things like that to raise the levels as well. It's like a big science project. But once you find your areas, you're going to want to rotate your crops through those areas. My grandmother always did it. The farmers in Nebraska have always done it. And I think it's very, very important, because that's going to let that piece of ground get those nutrients back in it. So I hope this helps you. It's a very simple home test. And obviously, as you can see there by the results, the test does work. So God bless you all. This is OWP signing out.
So I'm pretty happy that I found all these different videos from the old channel, because I spent a lot of time putting those demos together. We have 30 days of new demos coming out this August and September, and I'm really excited about that because it's all forest related. And I have a live stream coming out very soon, that is about a major thing that me and dragonflies have to be concerned about, and maybe some of you too. You'll have to keep watching to see that. So I want to say that, there's a lot of things that, as a prepper or being in the prepared community, I think a lot of times, honestly, the prepping community has gotten a very bad rap on YouTube. The There's too much news and not enough skills. That's how I feel about it. I like reporting the news. I do have a news channel. It's out of jail now. So if somebody wants to drop the link, one of my mods for OTWP TV News, that channel is only for the news. This channel is more down to earth prepping, things that we need to do to get on point. I think that there's a lot of things coming at us. And I think that, like today, I spent all day, about 8 hours, prepping water. And see, you all don't have the same situation as me and Dragonflies have. We have to be on point about water, because we do not have a running water system. Like, we don't just turn on a faucet and say, oh, there's water. Let me just misuse and abuse the water. We don't have that. Our water is all either rain catch or brought in from a fire truck, which we had to. due yesterday. So we got 1,500 gallons of water, and then what's it do? It starts raining. But the good thing is we have another almost 1,200 gallons outside set up with my rain catch. I'm going to be re-showing that video. A lot of people have asked about it. We're going to be showing that video. I'm going to bring back some of these videos in a long live stream so that we can all like kind of say, oh yeah, I remember this video, or oh shit, I forgot to do that, or I need to get more on point about these things. I think that the biggest thing that we have facing us right now in 2023 is global starvation. Global starvation. All Would the IBS containers keep water safe? You mean IBC? You mean IBC tanks, right? Not IBS. I don't know what an IBS is, Cindy. Oh God, dragonflies. Here she goes. Shit. She said that's irritable bowel syndrome, and I don't think that would be a good idea. No, it's IBC. Yes, we use a IBC, but you got to be very careful. I will say this about the IBCs, right? IBC totes. Some people will sell them and they'll say, "Ah, I got an IBC. You can come get one for 35, $40." And I'll tell you what, a lot of IBCs are used for chemical. You got to know where you're getting these tanks from. We actually got one, a brand new one for like $65, $75. I don't know what it was. They run about $300, right? We got it for 65, $75. It was very, very new. But it was used for Gavi syrup. And so if they have ran food through it, I don't have a problem with using it for my water. But if I see these little ads on Fakey Book and they say, I got all these IBCs and they're this much, I kind of back off of them because you're you're taking that into your system. And I don't care how good you clean it. I truly believe that stuff can leach onto that poly tank. Oh, Dragonflies is throwing it up for you. So the storm knocked out your power, but you're a prepper, Doug. You're on it. You definitely don't want petroleum products in it. No, I wouldn't use it, Cindy. But what you could do with it, Cindy, is you could use it for a rain catch for non-potable water. Non-potable water, right? You could use for plants. It might hurt them, but you could use it for toilets. I wouldn't drink it. I would definitely not drink it. In no way, shape, or form. Dragonflies is throwing up sunflowers. Um, yeah, yeah. I I'm glad that we're getting some rain. We needed it, but the temperature dropped immensely here. So I think there's one more video, folks, before I shut it down for the night. I took down some of the live streams because I have so much going on. Okay, this is a really good one. Um, I think it's about 30 minutes long. And this one is the interview I did with Amanda Moe. And I found it and I was really happy because she was so excited to be on Off the Wall Prepper. She has a very extensive medical background. So let's listen to the interview with Amanda Moe. And I think that this will bring it into some first aid, which is a very important topic. A very, very important topic. Um, I've been kind of on it about first aid. I want to give a big shout out to all the people. I want to say this before I bring this video on. Hold on a minute. I'm going to open it, but I'm going to pull it down. Hold on one sec. Okay. Okay, I want to say this real quick. Next weekend, depending weather permitting, I'm hoping to post it by Wednesday or Thursday. We are going to have a celebration of life for Beth D. I want to thank everybody that sent in PayPals, checks, Cash Apps, uh, sent money directly to the funeral home. It was $1,565 for her cremation services. I made a PayPal payment the other day for 240. We got some more checks. We got a couple checks that are clearing, and we have almost raised enough for the whole thing. I'm hoping and praying. There's a few people that said they were sending in money to help with Betsy's services. I'm hoping and praying that we are able, as the OTWP MAG, as the prepping community, as the homesteading community, everybody that's participated, to help send off our beloved sister. Um, and I want to say thank you very much to everybody. We have some kids that are going to need a nice Christmas. And so the members of this mag have decided this Christmas, instead of giving each other gifts, instead of me buying all kinds of gifts, we are adopting kids this year. We are giving back not only to Beth D and her kids, but we have some other kids that we're going to adopt, and they're going to be having a really nice Christmas from the OTWP Mag. We're going to be talking about that soon and how we're going to do it. But I'm really excited that the members of this channel thought it was such a great idea to give back instead of us as adults taking. These little kids, some of them, their parents, they've lost them due to illness, they've lost them due to prison, whatever the situation. But I'll tell you what, folks, when you see a community come together and say, we don't need shit, let's give, and let's adopt a family for Christmas. That is freaking love. That's light. That's hope. If you have a family that you know that's lost a parent, has a parent in prison, is having a terrible, terrible time, please send me an email at offthewallprepper@gmail.com. We are going to try to adopt 10 to 15 kids, because usually I go over the top at Christmas. This year, the MAG, your memberships, are going to help provide for kids. If you want to send something special, I'm going to get sizes and boys and girls and all that stuff. So I just wanted to announce it again. If you can send a donation for Beth D's services, please do so. We would like to let Steve have a little extra. He's going through a hard time. Um, Thank you, Carol. Thank you. Did you send it directly to the funeral services? On the community page is all the information. You can PayPal it to offthewallprepper@gmail. You can do a super chat. We're keeping track of those. Even though YouTube takes part of the money, I'm matching it. I'm just, whatever it is, that's what's going to Steve or to Beth D. And I want to say thank you once again to everyone. So now let's watch this and get into some first aid, and then I'll come back on, and we'll be at like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. But it's one of those nights. I think the information that we're putting out is important, and I love y'all and I care about you. So let's watch this. Good evening, everybody, and this is Off the Wall Prepper, and this is our first episode of our first aid series for the month. And tonight I have a special guest with me. She really did try to get on the video with me, but it just wasn't happening. So I do have Amanda here on the phone with me, and we're gonna go into some details, and she does have medical expertise. Amanda, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi.
Great to have you on the show, Amanda. I wanted to talk to you. First, maybe give a little bit of background information about what you've done in the medical profession so that people kind of know where you're standing.
Okay, sure. I'm Michigan, and I've been an EMT for 23 years. I was a medic I waited quite a while to get my medic, and I was a medic for 3 years, and then went into an ER as a tech, and decided to leave the road. As I got older, everything gets sore and I get tired of lifting people all the time, and so I ended up becoming a cardiac tech in the hospital, and I did that for years. And then the COVID thing hit, and everything I saw firsthand made me want to leave. I didn't want to be part of it anymore, so I went and got my CDL. And now I'm a school bus driver. Just really
Quite
different.
quite a change of profession, that's for sure.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
as we had talked, Amanda, back and forth via email, we kind of came up with a subject that I think is really important to the channel and to everyone because fall and winter's coming. They're saying it's going to be one of the worst winters in a century, and we just seen what happened down in Florida yesterday and today, and going into tonight. And I think it's really important to be prepared. What would you? Let's go into a little bit of frostbite or trauma, that type of thing. What you can do just common sense wise that can maybe get people out of a really bad situation?
Sure. Well, the Texas polar vortex thing that happened really concerned me a lot. Watching that go on, assuming a lot of people probably dealt with frostbite, and of course, common sense. The most important thing would be to do layers, to layer your clothing as much as you can, and to the moisture wicking material is a lot better, and cotton, like real cotton, not like nylon. Um, and for of course for the go bags and for your cars, extra socks is extremely important. Extra dry socks. I would put like 5 pair in my car. I actually have a few pair in the back of my car, just in case the car broke down. I had to like walk home, and I would bring the socks and change. Make sure your feet are dry. It's really important to cover everything that sticks out, like your nose, your fingers, your toes, your ears. Of course, keep your heat in with on your head and your feet. But everything that sticks out you got to make sure it's covered because the frostbite sets in on those furs.
Yeah, I've seen some horror stories with people losing like the tips of their finger, the tips of their ears, their nose, especially growing up in Colorado. I mean, it was like, whoa. Um, is there anything in particular that you would suggest? Okay, you said socks, definitely, maybe some foot warmers, hand warmers. Any other items that you would suggest that people carry in their vehicles during the fall and winter months, just in case?
Yeah, well, the warmers for sure, and extra socks, extra gloves. Um, my main concern is, I think maybe adults might know, but I think kids don't know a lot that their skin gets red and it starts to hurt and it gets prickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that when that pain and that prickliness goes away and it starts getting numb, that's when frostbite is actually setting in. And if you had a child with you or a person, they stop shivering and they basically stop shivering and they get drowsy and confused, kind of almost like they're drunk, slurred speech. That's all stuff to look out for. And I know it sounds strange, but the very best thing that anybody could do, I mean, not be like a weirdo, but to put naked skin against naked skin, like if you were with a friend or your kid or whatever, and that was all you could do, if you like were outside in the snow. That's the best way. The human skin on the human skin is the best way to warm them up. If you
Right, because you're not bringing their body temperature up too fast. And that can cause problems. Like I told that story on the channel. I don't know if you caught that live that day where my friend had got into the lake there in Denver, and it was springtime, and she started to get hypothermia, and it was very terrifying for all of us because she started turning purple, and then come to find out on top of it she was pregnant. And so, one of the gals actually stripped down and wrapped their body around him, and one of the guys put just held up a blanket to make it not so like everybody on the lake, watching, to make it, decent. But the thing is, I think body temperature helps in a lot of those situations. And if you raise the temperature too fast when it's frostbite, I think that causes a lot of issues as well.
Yes, that's why you're not supposed to use water, and it's really strange because back in EMT school they said you stay away from the water. People think if you put your limbs in warm water, that's a good idea. But that's exactly right, because there's no way to tell how frostbitten you are, like how drastically you're changing your temperature.
Right.
And you were talking about the pregnant woman. That was something else I wanted to say. It can cause Braxton Hicks contractions and false labor.
Oh,
A pregnant woman, yeah.
Oh, so you definitely, when somebody has frostbite, you want to be aware of the signs, and if they're pregnant, to make sure that you're doing something immediately. If there was no EMTs or first responders available, so the best way is to get their body temperature up. After you get their body temperature up, is there steps and things that you would suggest to do once you got them inside of a warm dwelling or home?
Well, yes. I mean, warm fluids, like as an EMT, we would give an IV a normal saline. But, I mean, if you don't have that, then warm fluids would be the best thing.
Like a hot tea or something like that. And
or anything, I mean, they say coffee dehydrate. I mean, if it were me, I'd want a coffee for sure.
Yeah, me too. Because coffee's one of my favorite drinks anyway. So, we had discussed a couple different topics. I'll let you just, if you have one specific, I think trauma. We talked about frostbite, dehydration. Um,
Dehydration's a big one.
let's talk about that. Go ahead. Tell us. I think so many times, like I got really sick one year, and I lost like 15, 16 pounds in a month. And it was not because I wanted to, it was because I couldn't keep anything in. And then I became dehydrated, ended up in the emergency room with an IV, and it wasn't the funnest thing. And I felt really I was nauseated, I was tired, and I just couldn't keep nothing in.
Yes.
So what would, if somebody, first of all, what would be like some signs and symptoms of dehydration that would be easy to pick up on?
Well, you'd ask them when was the last time that they urinated, and was their urine dark, and was there less urine than usual? And, if they're dehydrated, they're going to say yes to all that. I'm thinking of my son. He got like a vomiting flu. He's a teenager, a very large, tall teenager, but he got vomiting flu last year, and I kept trying to put electrolyte fluid into him, and I didn't have an IV kit like with me. I'm not a practicing EMT, and I knew that that's what he needed. I mean, if you have someone that can start an IV, that's the best thing for someone who's vomiting, cannot hold anything down. So I had all my preps, my electrolyte drink powders, and all that. I was trying everything to not hold anything down. And the second day that he didn't produce any urine, I knew I had to rush him to the ER, and luckily it was very close by. And I just showed up and said, he needs this right now, and they tried to talk us into other stuff, and I'm just like, nope, we're just here for an IV. And I mean, if you're in that situation, you just have to be really firm and say, no, I know what I need. I just need an IV. But if you have access to one, that's definitely the best way to go. But if you don't, the problem is with children. If they're crying, they'll stop showing tears. There won't be tears. They'll get lethargic. They're going to stop urinating. Their diaper will be dry. And with pediatrics, cool, clammy skin and limbs happens. That doesn't always happen with adults, but with pediatrics, it does. And the problem with dehydration is that it can lead to stroke. It can lead to heat exhaustion, which is causes brain damage. And a really good sign of dehydration is to check their skin, the tuger of their skin, like you pull up on the top of their hand. And if you pinch the top skin of their hand and it stays there, it's called tenting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's poor skin tuger.
So does Gator, what drinks would you recommend having, maybe around the home if somebody was dehydrated, or in your get home bag or your bug out bag? I always carry Gatorade. Anything with electrolytes I think would be sufficient to at least help you. Do you have any other recommendations if you didn't have an IV available? I think a lot of times with the way we're watching society and the things that are happening, what concerns me and what concerns the channel members that have been writing me is that what do we do? Because what if we don't have first responders? What if we can't get medical attention and it would come to some of these basic things?
What I would do is give the electrolyte drinks, make sure that it has sodium and potassium in it. And I wish I could remember the name brand. It's not by me right now, but I ordered for my preps. I ordered I'm trying to remember what I found it on. I found it on a website, but it's for athletes. It's supposed to be extra.
I know what you're talking about too. Maybe I can look it up and I can put it in this pre-recorded for everybody to see, or maybe you'll be in the live and you can drop in and say this is the item I was talking about. Is there any other classes or things that you maybe just from your personal experience that you think that people really should step up their game? Because if we do see a total SHTF, and even myself and Dragonflash, we have been in the situation out here in this cabin where we weren't able to get the fire department here right away. Literally, I had to drive out to them. And that concerns me because when it comes to snake bites and things like that. But do you have any words that you would say hey, y'all, you really need to do this, this, and this to get in your preps and also to get yourself prepared if a first responder couldn't get to you, just in your own medical advice opinion from having all the years you have?
The electrolyte powder for the prep, make sure it has sodium and potassium in it. It's very important. And the most important thing is to not wait. If you or your child or somebody is even starting to get a fever at all, I would start the electrolyte drinks and start the Tylenol right away. I just would not wait. A lot of people think, well, I'll just wait and see what happens, see if it gets worse. But in a shit-it's-a-fan situation, you can't do that. You need to do, basically you need to be 2 steps ahead of what you would normally do if you weren't in that situation. Just think 2 steps ahead about everything.
Most definitely. So I have one other question. Do you have a go-to medical reference book that you think everybody should have in their preps?
Oh, jeez.
I put you on the spot. This was one of those winged questions, but I thought maybe you had a book that was maybe basic first aid or something that you really feel very strongly about book-wise, because books are so important. And if we do have a total collapse where, God forbid, that we wouldn't be able to see the mag and be with the mag, I think I'm really big on paper references. I think that we've gotten real lazy by being able to click into Google or DuckDuckGo and find whatever we want. And I think when things really roll out, if it happens or when it happens, I would like to have some type of paper copy book in my hand to say this is my go-to.
Yeah, well, I've got all my paramedic books, which are huge. Each one's the size of like a phone book.
Wow.
They're big, heavy books, but those are by Brady. I mean, maybe people could get those used online.
Yeah.
It surprised me.
Yeah, paramedic books would probably be a really good thing to have.
Yeah, I know Brady was the company that made them, but they've been around a long time. I mean, they're just, oh my gosh, they're just chock full of stuff. So much information.
Right. Well, Amanda, can you believe we've already been on 20 minutes? I
No,
told you.
Can I say one more thing about babies, just because I'm worried about people with little kids?
Most definitely.
If they are dehydrated or very, very hot from the sun or heat, like the power's out, the best thing to do is to get them in the shade and do it step by step. Get them in the shade, then put a popsicle in their mouth, and then move them to like a cool tub of water. Like think it through step by step, but don't wait. That's the most important thing, is to not wait. Just be 2 steps ahead of everything.
Yeah, well, and definitely get them out of the sun. Get them out of the sun. That's just like when I was talking about if you're low on water and you are in a get home situation with just your get home bag, you're going to have to pick and choose. Okay, am I going to travel during the heat of the day, or am I going to get up early in the morning with the sunrise and get as many hours as I can, depending on the terrain, or am I going to travel at night? And those things are going to come into play. And I think everybody has to have a plan. And I appreciate you so much. And I think caring about our babies is, our grandkids, our nieces, our nephews, whatever it may be, or our own little ones, is really important to know some of those steps.
Yeah. And I've got other things I can tell you in the future about things to look for in the babies and the kids. It's different from the adult. It's very different.
Well, maybe we can have you come back on at the end of October. We'll have a panel, and maybe you can come on that panel, and we can figure out what's wrong with your phone or whatever, and your video part, and get you on. That way you can just show your avatar. A lot of people do that, but then you could be on a panel, and we could kind of have that goes around and discusses different situations, and then answers in their own opinions, and then that would be a great way to bring it to the channel, I think.
Okay, and could I refer people to one person on YouTube that's really good with all this stuff?
Most definitely, especially if it's first aid.
Okay, his name is Skinny Medic. He's been on YouTube for years.
Skinny Medic. Okay, maybe I'll try to reach out to him too. You never know. Maybe he'll come over and do a special on Off the Wall Prepper, and it would be a great way to give him a big shout out too. But we will definitely. I'll reach out to him, and maybe I can even have him on this show with you, which would be even cooler. So you never know what'll happen at Off the Wall Prepper. That's why I'm off the wall, right? And Amanda, I want to say big prepper hugs to you. Thank you so much for taking your time out tonight. I know that you have long hours, and we got to keep lifting our brothers and sisters up in Florida, because that's quite a mess down there. But this will be.
I love your show very much. I always learn something from you every single show. I love it.
You've been here, I think, for quite a while.
Yeah, well, a year and a half or so.
Yeah, since the beginning. When I used to have like 20 subs, and I used to talk on lives just all by myself to me. But Amanda, thank you so much, and I always look forward to getting emails too. So God bless you. Big prepper hugs, and thank you so much tonight for stopping in and doing this.
Yes, thank you so much for letting me help people. Thank you.
It's about community, right?
Yes.
We either all stand together or we all fall together.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Amanda. I'll reach out to you soon.
Okay.
All right. God bless. Thank you.
Much love.
You too. Big prepper hugs at you, woman.
You too.
Okay. Bye-bye. other people. If you're able to pick up extra things here and there, don't overwhelm yourself. You can get first aid. So that was a great interview. That was a really good interview. And Amanda does come to the show, but she comes in and she makes comments and things like that. But she is a very, very neat lady. You know, it really is truly about community. And I think the more that people, I wish people would stop the hate and stop the division and go forward in a positive way. Because honestly, I think someday when everything breaks loose is that we're going to go back to the bartering system, or you're going to roll forward with the CBDC. Um, and I really, honestly, from my heart, I think that it's going to come down to community. It's going to come down to relying on each other for skills, for items, things like that. Hey, Scan. It's very important, folks, that we stay focused on the good things. And I hope that this live tonight brought some things to your attention, some things that we all need to be on point about, some things that are kind of uncomfortable sometimes to talk about nuclear and things that we just look at and go, well, we don't want that to happen. Let's not talk about it. Let's shove it to the side, you know. But we can't shove it to the side. If we go head first, if we go directional and we take the direction to go forward, like you know, there's some topics that I'm like, oh crap, I don't know. And then that makes me dig deeper. It makes me want to know more. And I'm not wanting to set up here and say, I know everything, and if you don't do it my way, then you're stupid, and blah, 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 blah. I say this channel, Off the Wall Prepper, since the beginning, has been different. It's about community. We have comedy, we have laughter, we have faith, we have a little bit of everything. Because when I really thought about putting a channel together, I was like, I don't want to be the one that sets up with a green screen behind me every single day, day in and day out, and doesn't show who I am. And I think that it's came through on this channel, and the channel's growing again. I think it's almost a 32 or 3,300 or something, and I'm excited about that. But it's not about how big we are; it's about who we are, and that's a big difference. You know, there's a big difference between having a channel that's 100,000 subs and you don't know nothing about nobody, and having a channel of 3,000 people, and I can talk to you about your kids. You email me. Some of you have my phone number. We're going to have a new call-in show in July, and I'm excited about that. We have Rumble going on. I'm excited about that. We have OTWP TV news. We have different aspects because not only is prepping important, but being real is important. Being a down to earth, real person is important. I appreciate everybody coming in tonight. I'm going to show one more video on the way out, and I hope that y'all enjoyed this rather long live. We haven't had a long live like this for a while. Cherie, go get some sleep. And to all you other hands that were over at Telegram bright and early this morning, and now you're all sleepy, I have to say, poor babies. Yeah, but you know, Q&A, we're skills, but most of all, stay centered. Stay centered on what you can do, not what you can't do, and that's really important. I think too many times people get so wrapped up in the negativity that they forget that we got to keep on living, and that's important. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it on down. I love you all. I care about you. I think this is the video I wanted to show. I'm not sure, but we're going to watch it. Yeah. And I'll see y'all soon. I'll be posting some lives back up. We got some things we got to get done this week, and I have a project list, and I'm really trying to knock off the project list. So, plus, we're getting new internet again because we've been having all kinds of internet issues. But, you know, that's what one of the joys of living in the forest is. I love y'all. I care about you. Big, huge prepper hugs from our little cabin to wherever you're at in this happy world. Let's take it on out with some music because that's the way we do it, the OTWP. I hope this live stream tonight makes you think, makes you learn some skills, and makes you get on board because that's the whole purpose. God bless y'all from here in the Ozarks to wherever you're at in this big, happy, happy world. I love y'all. Boom.
In all things, in all things, in all things, you're working it out, working it out. In all things, all things, in all things, you're working it out, working it out. For the good of those you called according to your purpose. For the good of those you called according to your plan. Well, you are working for the good. Yeah, you are working for the good. In all things, in all things, in all things, you're working it out, working it out. In all things, all things, in all things, you're working it out, working it out. For the good of those you called according to your purpose. For the good of those you called according to your plan. Well, you are working for the good. Yeah, you are working for the good. We will trust in you. We will trust, we will see you move. We will trust in you. Oh, we will trust, we will see you move. For the good of those you called according to your purpose. For the good of those you called according to your plan. And for the good of those you called according to your purpose. For the good of those you called according to your plan. Well, you are working for the good. You are working for the good. Holding on to the hand of self-destruction. And I'm back to a place that I left a long time ago. Just give me a sec while I smoke this cigarette. My aching body feels better still. What do you do say if I ever came back again? Well, I still wonder and I miss you. I know I'll ask you when I see you again, my friend. What do you do when you get the blues? Just pick up my guitar. Too much on your plate when you need to escape. Everything will be better when I find a way. Oh. What do you do? You pick up a guitar and too much on your plate when you need to escape. Every little thing will be better when I find a way. Whoa, Lord, Lord. Find a way. Find a way. Find a way. Baby, I'm fine. A buzz song is my favorite song. Is playing in a Broadway bar. Then you walk in and you're all alone. The hottest in the room by far. And you look up and our eyes lock, and my heart falls straight out of my chest, baby. Your lips and your sweet smile, let me kiss it till I die. For the rest of our lives, yes, you and me were meant to be. For the rest of our lives, drop your guard and take a ride with me. 'Cause you got what I want, oh, and I got what you need. For the rest of our lives, it's gonna be a done deal. Just wait and see. Well, the sun's up, you wake up, an angel in the morning light. And I don't ever wanna leave, the bed's messed up just right. So we make love and we make plans, and God knows that I'm all about it. We're up high, never coming down, baby, just you and I. For the rest of our lives, yes, you and me were meant to be. For the rest of our lives, drop your guard and take a ride with me. 'Cause you got what I want, oh, and I got what you need. For the rest of our lives, it's gonna be a done deal. Just wait and see. I've known it since I met you. This love, it was a breakthrough. For the rest of our days, we'll be everything we wanna be. For the rest of our lives, for the rest of our lives, yeah, you and me were meant to be. For the rest of our lives, drop your guard and take a ride with me. 'Cause you got what I want, oh, got what you need for the rest of our lives. It's gonna be a done deal, just wait and see. It's gonna be a done deal, just wait.